The more we're trying to explain, the less we had words.
Tonight, no words. The mother of 2 slain children seeks restitution from the people who didn't protect them.
Any project that has the risk of sexualized violence for Indigenous women and girls does not go ahead.
A Commons Committee on Violence Against Indigenous Women and Girls hears some solutions.
Sport is culture and culture is sport.
And a young hockey coach from Nova Scotia is a finalist in this year's William O'Ree Community Hero Award. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. It's a heartbreak few of us can imagine. Emile Arsenault is the mother of 2 children slain in the Huron-Wendat community of Wendake, Quebec. She's bringing a $2 million lawsuit against the province's health ministry and youth protection services because, as Lindsay Richardson reports, she says 3 complaints about a violent former partner were dismissed.
Emile Arsenault granted few interviews with media over the last 2 years. She says until today, no one's asked her about her sons.
Olivier, c'est un petit garçon super enjoué, super taquineur, un peu gêné à ses heures. C'était mon réconfort. J'ai toujours dit qu'Olivier, c'était mon enfant réconfort. Tandis qu'Alex, lui, c'était mon soleil. Lui, il explosait, il se démarquait des autres. C'était vraiment un petit rayon de soleil. Là.
Olivier would have been 7 this year, Alex 5. But in October 2020, police recovered their bodies from this home in Wendake, just outside Quebec City. For the community of 1,400, it shook many to the core.
The more we're trying to explain, the less we had words. We were not ready for that, and no one is ready for that. You're not ready for these kinds of wake-up calls in the morning.
The children's biological father, an Innu man from Wahatmakmaniutnam, is now awaiting trial on second-degree murder charges. When informed of the deaths, Emily recalls being shocked, but at the same time, not surprised.
Moi, je craignais pour la sécurité de mes enfants, donc c'était une peur que je pouvais avoir, là, qui me traversait l'esprit des fois. Là.
Emily says her ex's behavior prompted 3 complaints to Youth Protection Services. The first made by a social worker after Olivier's birth. The second made by provincial police. The third, Emily made herself. All 3 files were closed.
We cannot go into details into the events that led to the signals. But what I can say is that when it will be public, you will understand that it's unbelievable that it took that long and that at the end we said, sorry, but we cannot help you, we're closing the file.
It's a story heard repeatedly during the Laurent Commission, examining the death of a 7-year-old girl in Granby, whose caregivers were also flagged repeatedly with youth protection. The Commission report helped guide reform of Quebec's child welfare laws, but concerns remain about long-term impact.
Ils demandent un rapport d'enquête à chaque fois, mais ça sert à rien. Puis c'est la population qui paye pour ça.
So Emily and her lawyer are taking initiative. They've served Quebec with a legal notice. A $2 million lawsuit is upcoming.
If you go to a hospital and you are not treated, or and a doctor fails in responding or in treating you correctly, you could sue him. So why can't we sue the government for not responding, for not really offering the service that were proper to protect the children, which are the most vulnerable in our society? Why not?
Emily says things are looking up. With support of family and friends, she's enrolled in courses hoping to become an elementary school teacher. She says no matter the restitution, Quebec can't replace what's already been lost.
Le montant d'argent, ça aurait été 1 pièce ou ça aurait été 10 millions, ça me dérange pas. Il n'y a rien qui équivaut à la valeur de la perte de mes enfants. Là.
Quebec's Youth Protection Minister declined APTN's request for comment, and an email to the province's health ministry went unanswered by deadline. Lindsay Richardson, APTN National News, Montreal.
A House of Commons committee is studying links between resource extraction and violence against women, Indigenous women. The National Inquiry urged governments to do this 3 years ago in Call for Justice 13.4. The Status of Women Committee is asking interested parties to offer their solutions, and they heard some today during witness testimony from Pam Palmater.
On a go-forward basis, no project happens until it can pass the bare minimum human rights standard that is now incorporated in UNDRIP. UNDRIP is the bare minimum human rights standard. That means any project that has the risk of sexualized violence for Indigenous women and girls does not go ahead unless there are guarantees of protections for these women.
A vote by chiefs in Manitoba to decide whether Grand Chief Arlen Dumas will keep his job has been delayed indefinitely. Dumas is facing allegations of sexual misconduct from a senior staff member at the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs. In a statement released today, the AMC Executive Council of Chiefs said a workplace investigation being completed by an independent party is still underway and is delaying the process. The chiefs say AMC remains committed to ensuring that the investigation is completed in a timely manner and that AMC Workplace is free of harassment. No new date for the non-confidence vote has been selected. Dumas has not been charged by police in connection with the staff members' allegations. We want to hear what you think about any of the stories that we bring you or the stories that we should be telling. Here's how you can continue the conversation. Send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can leave a comment on aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see all of our latest stories. It's day 11, and the chief of the Red Earth Cree Nation says they will keep searching for missing 5-year-old Frank Young. Fabian Head says, quote, "We are not giving up. We'll do whatever it takes to find Frank Young." During a morning news conference, he put out a call for volunteers heading into the weekend, and he thanked everybody who's helped so far. RCMP say there's been no sign of Frank or anything connected to him during any of their searches to date. The little boy was last seen playing outside of his home on Red Earth Cree Nation on April 19th. We need to take a break, but coming up, not much in the Ontario budget that works for Indigenous people living there.
We cannot just talk about money. It cannot just be used as a part of the, getting the economy going.
Parliament Hill is about to be the site of another demonstration. This one's dubbed Rolling Thunder. It's supposed to consist of hundreds of bikers and starts this evening. There is a heavier police presence than when the Freedom Convoy hit the town back in February, but as Fraser Needham reports, things don't appear to be as hectic as back then.
Thanks, Winnipeg. As you can see, a really different scene down here than was the case back in February when the Freedom Convoy was in full flight. These streets were basically packed with trucks and people partying, going everywhere. That's not the case today. People are kind of going about their own business. There is a police presence, but it's kind of not noticed. It's basically just a regular sort of spring day in Ottawa.
Like, there's more of a police presence around here. Does that bother you? They've heard that they're going to be a lot tougher on this time. Do you think it's warranted?
I mean, probably. I mean, they've got their blockades down there and stop people from driving, which might work, but I don't know, maybe.
The last group came down here on the premise of being a peaceful protest, so I live and work down here, and I welcome the police presence.
I think it's important, actually, yeah.
That they do have the police presence, you mean? Or?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Just for the security of everyone, you know.
The Rolling Thunder motorcycle protest is supposed to roll into Ottawa sometime around 6 o'clock tonight. It's supposed to be a party somewhere here on the Hill. It's not really said where yet. It'll be in person, though. They're not allowed to bring their motorcycles into the exclusion zone, which is all this area around here. Tomorrow, things really get underway where they actually start the ride, which is going to be from the east end of Ottawa. And they're going to come into the downtown core and ride past the War Memorial. But they're not allowed to stop the War Memorial. The police and City of Ottawa has been very clear about that. Then they're going to move east and then get on the Queensway and move out of the downtown core. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
Thanks, Fraser. We have another story by Fraser Needham. This one's on the Ontario budget. A plan to build, that's the name of the 2022 Ontario budget released today. It's the last budget before the provincial election in June. Here's Fraser explaining how there's not much in there for Indigenous priorities.
268, that's the total number of pages in this year's Ontario budget, but only 2, that's the number of paragraphs dedicated to Indigenous spending and priorities. Finance Minister Peter Bethlen-Falvey unveiled the budget in the Ontario Legislature Thursday. The Conservative government says it will invest $25 million over 3 years to support Indigenous communities. This includes funds for Indigenous-owned businesses and entrepreneurs to help with operations. The NDP's Saul Mamakwe had this to say.
So I think, the word that kind of came out is economic reconciliation. But that's not good enough. That's not good enough just to kind of like when we talk about reconciliation, we cannot just talk about money. It cannot just be used as a part of the, getting the economy going.
The budget also includes close to $159 billion over 10 years for highways and infrastructure. This includes close to $1 billion for critical legacy infrastructure, such as all-season roads to Northern Ontario's Ring of Fire. There's also $140 billion over 10 years for hospitals and health infrastructure, and $1 billion over 3 years for home care. Minister of Indigenous Affairs Greg Rickford did not return APTN's request for comment. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
According to UNESCO, 75% of the approximately 90 Indigenous languages in Canada are at risk of being lost. But a new Indigenous language podcasting project by First Nations University of Canada aims to turn things around.
It's called Pikiskwewin, which means language in Cree. The project was launched after the university's Indigenous Communication Arts program secured a federal heritage grant to help preserve, interpret, and revitalize Indigenous languages. Felicia Dewar with the university says it's critical to do this now.
Language is intrinsically connected to our culture and more importantly to our identity. And I think about different phrases and words and how they don't necessarily have that direct translation in English. So you're losing the meaning even. There's a number of languages like we've had difficulty finding Nakota and Lakota fluent speakers. Those are two in Saskatchewan that language is almost gone.
The podcasts feature teachers and language keepers covering a wide range of topics.
We have one that's talking about prayers. So so far we have 2 episodes up. One is a morning Cree prayer. One is a morning Michif prayer. We have another Michif podcast speaking with elders off of Highway 155 in Saskatchewan there. We've got one on food sovereignty in Dakota, which I think is just fantastic. We also have one in the works that's going to be basically similar to a Dear Abby with romance questions and that kind of thing. That should be a lot of fun. And we have one that we've posted on parenting in Saulteaux, so traditional Saulteaux parenting.
Many of the podcasters have never even listened to a podcast, and the university offers training to help them with things like doing interviews to more technical help with recording and producing a podcast.
As a legacy for the folks that are doing this work and creating these podcasts, it's a legacy for them, not just for their community, but for the upcoming generations.
People can listen to the first podcast at pikiskwewin.ca. People can also reach out to the university if they have an idea for a podcast that they'd like to do. Leanne Sanders, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
We need to take one more quick break, but when we come back, sports with strangers. Stay with us.
It's recently been named the official gemstone of Alberta, and it can only be found on Blackfoot territory.
This is what we have found and what I just dug up. So this is referred to as K-zone. It's a lower quality of ammonite, but it's still beautiful.
Troy Knowlton shares the importance of the ammonite to the Blackfoot people and how he makes a living off these unique gems. I'm Tamara Pimentel, and I'll have that story for you soon on APTN National News.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Joanna Bernard sent this rainbow shot to us from Madawaska First Nation in northern New Brunswick. Looks like there might be a pot of gold somewhere close to Maliseet Road. Keep those pictures coming. You can send them to share@aptn.ca. Who knows, you could be our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast. To the east coast, we've got 6-inch showers for St. John's, 5, and a chance of showers for Halifax. La Grande River, sunshine and 2 degrees, and Nukshawak -2 with a mix of sun and cloud. Chibougamau, 6 degrees and sunny, same with Saguenay, 15 and sunshine for Montreal. 15 and sunny for Ottawa. Toronto, 14 and sunshine. Kapuskasing, 15 and sunny. Big Trout Lake, cloud, 6 degrees. 4 and snow for Pucktawagan. Norway House, 9 with a chance of showers. Brandon, 3 degrees with showers. Winnipeg, 12 and cloudy, maybe some showers. 16 in showers for Swift Current, 17 in sunshine for Saskatoon. 4 in snow for Buffalo Narrows. Uranium City, 1 with a chance of showers there. 11 and sunny for Peace River and Grand Prairie. 10 and sunny for Edmonton, 16 in sunshine for Medicine Hat. 16 and rain for Penticton. Kamloops, mix of sun and clouds, 17 degrees. Prince George, showers, and 12. Dease Lake, snow possible, 7 degrees. 9 and sunny for Beaver Creek and Dawson City and Mayo. 8 and sunny for Wrigley and Norman Wells. Trout Lake and Fort Leonard, both 9 degrees and sunshine. Fort McPherson, 3 and sunny, same with Colville Lake and Paulatuk. -8 in Baker Lake, but sunny. -10 in sunshine for New Yacht. Kenite, snow, -1. Iqaluit, sunshine, -1. Time for another segment of Sports with Stranger. Our Daryl Stranger brings us this story of a Nova Scotia man who is up for an NHL Community Hero Award named after hockey legend Willie O'Ree.
Welcome to another episode of Sports with Stranger. We are back after a brief hiatus. Now, this week I wanted to highlight the amazing work one man from Acadia First Nation is doing to make hockey more inclusive for Indigenous girls. He's up for a prestigious NHL Community Award named after a Hockey Hall of Famer. Ryan Francis is one of 3 finalists for the Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award given to an individual who, through the sport of hockey, has positively impacted his or her community, culture, or society. Despite growing up off reserve, Francis says his parents made sure he was always connected to his home Acadia First Nation.
But growing up off reserve in Cole Harbour, I was still quite connected to what I would consider my community of Acadia First Nation, and whether that was through things offered by Acadia First Nation or through our Mi'kmaq Friendship Center here. Both of my parents were quite intentional in helping me understand my identity, and so I've always felt that connection to my community, and that support, even through a program like this, has been really felt.
In 2020, Francis launched the Indigenous Girls Hockey Program Nova Scotia, which encourages young Mi'kmaq girls to play hockey and break down the barriers that have commonly kept girls from playing the game.
It's a 10-week hockey program that we offer in each location. We put heavy emphasis on supporting our leadership in on-ice and administration roles, and so that the participants who are participating in the program see their own community members and have that recognition and have that familiarity. And so that itself is a really important piece to create that sense of belonging.
Working mainly off the ice, his efforts are focused on breaking down the barriers by making equipment and resources more easily accessible. In its first 2 years, the program had almost 200 young women from 3 different Mi'kmaq communities, and he hopes to grow the program even more.
Where we can incorporate things like culture and things like language is certainly areas that we look to do. Another piece of that is doing appropriate evaluation and sort of integrating things like sharing circles and things that better help us understand the needs of the community for the program in a way that is culturally relevant and culturally safe for our participants.
Even though he's the one nominated for the award, Francis says he didn't do it alone.
Being surprised by the NHL, being named a finalist, the top 3, that day was quite hectic, but also quite special, and something that I'll look back on, because I was able to hear from so many different people that have played a really important role in my life and has contributed to my life and my understanding of my own self.
For him, sports and Indigenous culture go hand in hand.
Sport is culture and culture is sport. And so in many ways, we've siloed this idea of sport, recreation, physical activity, and culture. But in our understanding and our own perspective, as Indigenous people, I think it's fair to say that those are one of the same. And so what lacrosse is to a person, to another person may look different, but to actually differentiate that from sport to culture actually isn't fair. And so sport plays such a vital role in helping us understand who we are and to even celebrate who we are.
Voting for the award has closed, and the winner will be revealed during the Stanley Cup Playoffs Conference Finals. The winner will receive $25,000, while the other two finalists will receive $5,000 to be donated to the charity of their choice. We certainly wish Ryan the best of luck in the competition, but he is already a winner with the work he is doing out there on the East Coast. Now, that's all I have for you this week on Sports with Stranger. If you have a sports story you would like covered, or want to get some pictures or videos to us, or get us in your community, send an email to us at sports@aptn.ca. Again, that's sports@aptn.ca. That's our new dedicated sports email.
Thanks for that, Daryl. Well, tonight on APTN Investigates, Rob Smith takes us on a journey backwards through time, from the latest arrest on Wet'suwet'en land to the calm before the storm 7 years ago. Take a look.
Here's John. Yeah, well, maybe here's Horgan.
And a chainsaw that they found.
While you're under arrest.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch her.
But we're the original people of this land, and we get axes to come through our doors, power saws.
Don't point your gun at me!
Snipers, attack dogs, militarized police.
People all over from coast to coast have seen what we're standing up for, and they're trying to fight for their same rights and responsibilities to their territories. They've gained hope and inspiration from everything that happened in this past year.
They're trying to infringe on our right to do the very thing of trapping, hunting, berry picking.
Oh, the trap's right out, so we got something.
Because their proposed route is going to impact all of that for my people, so that's the reason why we're making a strong stand.
That is so disheartening.
It actually makes me stronger.
Yeah.
They think we're just going to sit back on our heels and allow it to happen? No. They really don't know the Wet'suwet'en, that's what they think.
You can watch that episode Investigates right now, as we are all out of time for your national news tonight. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you back here tomorrow with your weekend news. Have a great night.